Let's begin. So today, got Mr. Adam Martin.
Boys.
He just started lifting 2 weeks ago.
Nah, thanks for having me on. It's been a while. Thought you would have asked me a little bit earlier, but
Bro, we asked you straight away, bro. We asked you at the start.
Nah, just timing thing, eh?
Yeah.
I'm glad we've got it worked out now.
Yeah, you always have an excuse.
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
I'm not even that busy.
Busyness is a mindset, bro.
Yeah, no, I always feel like I've got a lot on, but you can always do more with your time. Just got to structure it.
Yeah.
I was just joking when I need to get straight into the mindset.
Bro, how deep is this going to go?
Can go deep. So do you want to give us a little bit of intro about yourself?
Yeah, so let's go back to the start. So I grew up in Western Sydney, and was little when I was there, but it's quite big now. A place called Camden. Went to high school there. Lived there pretty much my whole life until I finished year 12. And then 2 weeks, I think it was about 2 months actually, after I finished year 12, joined the army as an infantry soldier. So we did my basic training and then my infantry training down at Newcastle. And then I flew up to Townsville, which I stayed there for about 2.5, nearly 3 years. And then posted down here to Brisbane 2016. And then got out end of 2019. Started my degree doing exercise physiology ACU. And yeah, now I'm working in the city at a medical practice, chiropractic clinic as an assistant. Just getting experience for when I start my business and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
That's the basics. We could go a lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like,
What business do you want to start?
I loved, during my time in the army, sustained a lot of injuries. One of them was playing football for the army, an army team, or it was like an approved army team. And then, I ruined my back, pack marching, knees, ankles. So during that time, I worked with EPs and physios on the barracks, and I was like, I love the rehab space. And I was actually working with an exercise physiologist who's one of my teachers now. And she just, it's just that.
One of your teachers? Oh,
yeah. So when I was on the barracks, she was an EP that's helping me when I was rehabbing my ankle.
Yeah, cool.
And then, I bumped into her last year on campus. Like, small world. Yeah, she was that first person. I was like, oh, that's like, that's something I could definitely do. Like,
She helped you a lot?
Yeah. I think even at that point, it was like more of a mental thing as well. Because, I was in a place, like my ankle injury was, one of those horror things you see on YouTube when like a soccer player snaps his ankle all the way back.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I was like,
yeah, I think you showed me a photo.
Yeah, I was playing. It was literally so unlucky. It was the first trial match of the year. The very first game of league I played up here. And it was off the kickoff. I think it was the second half, and I just caught it, went in for the hit up. The fullback got me around the legs, and then the forwards just twisted me. I heard this huge snap in the air, but I couldn't feel it because it's like that sensory thing where when you see your pain, like it's all the pain rushes through after that.
Yeah.
So I was like, heard the snap, I was falling to the ground. I was like, I don't think that was me.
Yeah.
And then one of the boys, I think it was Maori. He's like, bro, play the ball, get up. And I sat up, and my ankle was literally round the other way, like fully snapped back the other way. And then
pull that up, Ryan.
As soon as I seen that, I was just screaming So I that rehab, that was the first time I'd ever had an operation. I didn't know what the rehab was like. Back then, I was just someone that liked to train. I loved the gym, all that sort of stuff still. And now I was in this space where all I was doing was rehabbing, because it took like months, like 5 months, I reckon, to rehab back to infantry standard.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that point as well, the doctors and stuff were like, mate, you're probably not going to be able to do this job anymore. You might have to choose something else. But I was just stubborn, like, no, I'm not done with it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, if I can rehab this and pass all the fitness requirements to keep serving, can I do that? And they're like, yep, you can do it. So I was just in this gym on the base with this EP that I'm actually good friends with, the teacher. Her name's Leanne. And I was just like, that was something I would love to do when I get older. And then happens to have it, like, my ankle wasn't never going to be the same. And I just got to a point in end of 2019, 2018, I was just like, look, I need to do something else. Mm-hmm. And I was starting to get to that point where army wasn't going to be my life. Yeah. But I loved it. I fucking loved it so much. It was the best job.
What did you love about it?
It's just, I feel like, for me, it's just that team mentality, you know? Like, and it's just a bunch of guys doing really hard, shitty tasks and just all in it together. I just love that hard, gritty, laborious type of work. Plus, we did a lot of cool shit. Like, like I was fortunate enough to do a couple of really cool courses when I was in. So we were doing did heavy weapons course. So we were shooting all different types of weapons. And then I did a course called Pioneers, and we were doing like small boats, some construction type stuff, explosives and all that sort of stuff. So really cool experiences for someone that's just come out of school. And it's kind of like you definitely get institutionalized as well. So, you know, it's like going from school with all your mates, doing the same shit every day, going into the army. Like it's
same sort of thing.
I just transferred so easy. So good.
Were you at an all boys school?
No. So I went to Camden High School, which is just public, so it's boys and girls. But I found like my transition into the army was really good, really easy. So back to that. So I seen Leanne. I think we're still going off the same question. Like,
it's alright, dude. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Was the back and shoulder injuries or knee injuries, were they before the ankle, or they did they come sort of like as a result?
Nah, they were actually all after it. Hey,
yeah. So did they sort of lead from you having to compensate for the ankle?
I think sort of not really the shoulder, because it's obviously different parts of the body. But my back. So when I broke my leg, the left side became severely imbalanced, and then I suspect that's what I got a pretty bad SIJ joint injury a few years ago. It was from deadlifting, but I feel like there's just so much imbalance there that we're just gonna make that worse.
It's always one thing.
That
triggers it.
Even when I was in running, you know, there was just so much atrophy through my quad. And even with DEXA scans, I think I was maybe up to a kilo difference in the quad muscle. And my glutes and stuff. So
that's huge for one muscle.
So working with Leanne on barracks, she got me back to infantry standard of so I did all my tests, got back into it, and then found out it wasn't really what I wanted to do. From there I actually was able to get into university with my qualifications from the army. So it's just this awesome program they've got now where they get veterans into uni. And I was someone that hated school. I was the first person, I actually remember this, I was the first person to walk out of my HSC maths exam. I think I was in there for I think I did the 5-minute reading, just walked out.
It was in high school?
Yeah. And I literally just hated high school. Just wasn't for me. I just prefer to go and socialise with guys.
Did you do the OP, equivalent sort of thing?
Yeah, ours was the ATAR.
So you did the ATAR?
I did all the classes to be qualified for it. But just didn't put in the effort. Pretty much. I was always was keen to leave to maybe do a trade or something, but my dad's like, no, you have to go and get your year 12. And I actually got into the army around year 11. So I was like, sweet, I'll get like a year off doing nothing. And everyone, like even my teachers at school knew I was joining the army, so they didn't give a shit. Like, they didn't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so we got into uni now, and then I just want to, I want to work with DVA guys. Like I want to help people that were in the same position as me. Like, because I was physically so injured, but mentally I was so broken because I was like, I'm gonna have to leave the army, leave my mates, and something I just.
Do you think you would have stayed in if it wasn't for the injury?
I would have stayed in, but I would have still gotten out. Just because
you stayed in a bit longer.
Yeah, it was. I was to the point where, I met my partner Hillary, and where I was at was starting to get promoted and stuff. And once you hit the rank of sergeant, that's when you start posting. So I would have gone down to Capuco and Wagga or Singleton for 4 years, and then could have gone everywhere. Like granted, you get to have a preference, but that army mentality is like they don't give a shit. They'll just post you anywhere that they want you. So I made that call. I just said, look, I'm going to start a family in Brisbane. I don't want to leave Brisbane. I love it here. And yeah, sort of just made a call. Plus, there was a few things that happened, like I got promised something that was going to happen I did these 2 promotion courses, and then one of my sergeants said, if you just do these, because you're not meant to do them back to back. Just not enough time, and you're so cooked after it. He's like, I'll promise you a spot in heavy weapons platoon for next year, which I'd only done 6 months, and it was like my dream to get into that platoon. And then the last day of the second promotion course, I get called back and get promoted and sent to this other company, this ROF company. Yeah. Which is, I was just like, I just did like 12 weeks on these courses for this promise. Yeah, so it was a promotion you didn't want. It was a promotion that I wanted, but I got posted to a different place. Okay. And I was just like, no, that's it, I'm done. Oh, because you wanted to stay in Brisbane. Yeah. So that sort of led me out, and that was inevitable. That was going to happen regardless. So yeah, now that I'm out, I'll be finished my degree next year, and then I'll start my master's in exercise physiology. And then I'm just going to start my own business. Hopefully working in a gym like this, maybe. There's a spot here for you. Yeah, look, and then strength and conditioning, recom, rehab, DVA, mental health, all that sort of stuff. Just so into that. So I've got a few more years to go, but really keen to see where it goes. So would you like to work specifically with vets or just general population or a bit of both? Everything. I don't want to limit myself to one specific area in this field, because one, I feel like that could be boring if you aren't, and then so like I just love like where I'm working now in the city. I'm just admin, so we get all different types of populations come in, older people, mums, cancer patients, Parkinson's, like all different types of people, and they're just so lovely. They're just the nicest people. I actually feel like working with an athlete could be a little bit harder because they're a little bit stubborn and stuff like that. Sorry. So I would never want to limit myself. I think definitely down the track I would branch off into something specific. But for the first at least 5 to 10 years, I just want to work with everyone that I can. One, it's also going to get me a lot of experience, and I'm going to learn about all different types of personality profiles, which is going to just progress my career even further. And at the moment, I don't actually have any specific area that I want to work with, but definitely I would definitely say veterans, mental health, and obviously I'm into bodybuilding, powerlifting, strength training. Do you want to do like that? Prep, like competition prep? Honestly, it's not even on the radar. Not too bothered about it? Nah, probably I would be maybe selective with it. wouldn't launch a whole business solely on prep because it's at the end of the day it's a sport, and it's for a lot of people they don't even have the time to do it, which is hard to say because like people say you can do anything, but some people just they're not in the right circumstances, health wise, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like such a small niche anyway. It's like 1% of people who go to the gym will compete in like bodybuilding or
that's right.
powerlifting. Yeah,
and I feel like you only notice it if you're doing it yourself. Oh, all these bodybuilders, but in the scheme of things, that percent is minuscule. So,
You're competing yourself at the moment, aren't you? Or coming up to it?
Yeah, so starting my first prep in 2 weeks now, which I'm bloody so excited for. When I got out in 2019, I initially said I'll compete end of 2020.
Yeah.
And then, it's actually crazy because you just think, I'll just, start a prep. But for me, especially, it's just that mental visualization, that build up. Like, I got into 2020 and I was pretty happy with how I looked and I was pretty on muscle, but I just wasn't mentally ready for it yet. And then even last year, even the start of this year, I actually remember sort of starting in January, and like within like a month, it was almost like I had like a little bit of a mental breakdown sort of thing. Like my mental health just hit rock bottom.
Then you were questioning why you were training.
Questioning everything.
Yeah.
Like everything. Realised that I had a lot of stuff from my childhood that I had to work on. And my transition out of the army is one of the hardest things you can do, for sure. And I feel like it's one of those things you would never notice because it's like, it is that institutional thing.
Everyone just keeps it to themselves, don't they? Like,
and I remember I was like, because at that time I was pissed off with the army. I was like, I can't wait to leave. Like, fuck this place. And then getting out, it's like you're not going to work with your best mates every day, doing PT, training, like going to the pub and all that sort of stuff. Like you just lose. I just lost all of that, and it's like, I feel like the other thing is that when you in the army, everyone's making your decisions for you. So you have someone up higher up saying, we're going to do this today, tomorrow we're going to do that, we're going to do that, and you're just this person that can enjoy life, do your job,
you've got that structure,
do the task, and then when you get out, it's like I'm looking in the mirror, like I have to make my own decisions of my life.
Is it like a bit of an identity struggle?
Yeah, huge, man, huge. January this year, I was talking to my coach Tom that works here, legend of a guy. And he's just so awesome about it. I said, look, mate, I just don't think I'm ready, like mentally. I was like freaking out about that. So I was like, just pushing it aside for now. I had a whole semester off uni. First semester I didn't go to uni because I just needed a break. Talked to a few people, got a lot of help, and now I'm in an amazing spot mentally. And I feel like you just got to attribute that. Like the biggest thing I've learned about this whole journey is that the people you surround yourself with, I believe, is your biggest influence. Because getting out of the army, I was in the army with people that party, all that sort of stuff. And now I'm surrounding myself with people at this gym, like new people at uni, and I feel like I'm seeing that every day, and I just want to get better and better and better every day. And I feel like it's just looking at the people you're friends with, seeing their successes, like seeing people in this gym, how successful they are, and like not just in the gym, but like just the way they carry themselves, and like that inspires me to be like that. And then help other people along the way.
Do you feel like you had to have that bit of a mental breakdown to figure out what was important, and like you said, you're in the best spot ever. You have to hit like that rock bottom, and you're like, fuck, what am I doing? What I'm doing?
100%. Like, I always knew a few years ago, even in high school, that I had a few mental health issues. Not maybe that I'm not susceptible to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I knew in the back of my head something wasn't right, but I feel like I just never knew what it was or how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then
do you feel like it was? Sorry to cut you off, but like was the army sort of like a distraction?
Mask.
Distraction.
Huge mask.
Yeah.
Massive. Like I love the boys in the army, but I feel like a lot of people join the army to get away from something, and I was definitely like that. So I grew up. My mum was sick. She had depression and all that sort of stuff. She passed away when I was 12 to motor neuron disease, and then there was just no sort of. I just don't think I really ever got over that, and I don't ever feel like I dealt with it emotionally at the time. Like I never spoke to anyone. I don't feel like I had the right counselling from my dad.
Yeah.
He remarried, moved on and stuff, which is awesome for him, and I'm happy. But I never felt like there was like closure on it.
Yeah.
Like, because even as a 10-year-old, like I was like, I don't really know how to deal with this, and then it just sort of blew over, and we just kept living our life.
Yeah.
But it was just stuck inside me.
Yeah.
And I just noticing like just real lows like for a long time. And then so last year I remember I was with my partner as well for 2.5 years before she even found out. I just remember telling her that I was like, look, I don't think my mental health's in the right place at the moment. She's like, okay. And we went to see my GP, and I told him, and I just broke down in front of him, and she'd never seen that either. But that was like one of those days that's just ingrained in me, because I just remember that situation so much, because it's like two worlds now. Like that was a different person, and that day I said I need help it's like being reborn, like a fresh start. And looking back on that now is the best thing I ever did, doing that.
What, getting help or?
Yeah. Like, because I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I had one session, and then like we start talking about that, and you get me onto people, and like we go on and doing a breathing session, which is just something I would never have done before, but the benefits are just out of this world. Like even like now meditation is just a huge part of my life. Like journal every single morning. Okay.
That's awesome.
Because when you wake up, your emotional state's going to be at its lowest because of cortisol and stuff builds up over the night.
Your stress levels or
so
your brain waves are slower.
Exactly. So I journal every single morning, like one page. All right, how do I feel today? I feel like shit. Why? I feel good. Why? Did I have a good sleep? That's huge.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. And then just talking to people about it, helping others. Just
awesome.
Huge, man.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, you've got to set your day up in the morning, because that's like when you're the most influenceable.
Yeah. I actually
creating your state in the morning.
I actually read something that someone's shared the other day about doing your biggest task first thing in the morning, because then that's just going to build momentum for the day.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is hard, but it definitely works for sure. Yeah.
Like what kind of task? I feel like you shouldn't just relax from first thing in the morning, not jump straight into it. Like create your state in the morning.
Create your state. Well, that's why I'm
create your state, then do the biggest thing.
I meditate every morning. That's like just the start, and I just focus in on that. And then whatever I meditate about, think about, or journal about. And then normally, like the biggest task for me will be something uni related. Get my brain working. I'll do some study or an assignment or read up on something, and then I'll get into it. So.
I've heard that before. Just getting like one, not necessarily the biggest task, just like getting one task done. Start the snowball. Just take the rubbish out or something like that. Like just one thing that you're supposed to do that's done.
Something that makes you feel, it makes you feel productive. And I'm like, if you do this small task, then what am I going to do next? And then when you look back at that day, when you finish for the day, you're like, I've got heaps done. You know those days when you get nothing done and you just feel lousy? Yeah. And then those days where you just want to go. It feels so much better. Obviously you can't maintain that every day, but you need a rest. But
it's like, well, what's one thing I could do today that I'll benefit the most from?
Yeah. So we got a little bit off topic there.
Yeah,
I feel like we ask questions and we just roll on to something else.
That's
Well,
fine.
where are we at with that? Oh yeah, you journaling, meditating.
Yeah. So that helped me overcome so many mental health challenges, especially journaling. Look back. I look back on to like October last year when I started, and like I was writing down notes that were just like something I would never write about myself now. Like,
were you doing any journaling up until then?
not really,
No.
not in that regard. Like I would have like a
To-do list.
your diary, or you write your appointments in there, but
Yeah.
just solely journaling and just reflecting on yourself. It's one of the most important things. Like, it's obviously not going to be for everyone. But yeah, and then I think this is another reason why I want to be an ex-phys is I just love helping people. I just want to help them, and exercise is a space that I'm pretty good at, I think. I can talk to people, and then if I can talk about my mental health, I'm this big guy, like some people would look at me like, oh, he's just a big meathead.
Yeah.
But if people can see me talking about mental health, they might be like, oh shit, maybe I can do the same.
Yeah.
And even if you just help one person, that's why I love that bloke psychology page on Instagram, because we're just gotta break this stigma of mental health. Like why do you have to hide it? It's hard, man. Like I remember building up this courage to go and tell my GP. Once I did it, man, it was literally like, no joke, I'm reborn. I'm like a whole new person now.
Just that one choice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you give other people permission when you share things, and
yeah,
well, that person isn't that different to me, and he's having problems. Like, it's okay.
That's it.
Just gonna get my drink.
It's what other questions have we got?
I want to find out about your training. Like, when did you start getting like serious about training and bodybuilding?
Yeah, how long have you been training?
Well, yeah, so I feel like the reason I love training so much is when I was a kid and all that hard stuff is happening with my family. My dad actually was quite into weights. Like he was a Commonwealth Games discus thrower, so he's real into like cleans and bench and squats. I actually remember in the garage we went to do they have a Paul's Warehouse up here? Paul's Warehouse. It's like this. It's like an Amart, like a Rebel Sport, but like an older sort of store. And we bought this bench press, but those like really cheap ones where the struts that hold the bar in are like really narrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we got that, and Dad literally cut the bottom part out and made it wider, so it was like a normal sort of bench.
Yeah, nice.
And it had like a leg curl thing on the end, like an extension where you put plates on it.
Used to have one just like that.
Yeah, exactly like that, man. And I think we've still got it. Like if I go home to Sydney, I'll still bench on it. It's just like one of those things. Like even the bar, just like we did so much bench as a kid. And Dad made a squat rack out of some wood, and he actually made a vertical leg press. It was so dodgy. It was like...
Does he still have it?
It was... Nah, I think you got rid of that. It's pretty sturdy. It was just like these two wooden beams, and it had like, those like hollow bits of square metal. And so it would slide on each side, and then you would just have a strut bar across the middle, and you just literally like lie under it and elevate your butt, and then just leg press. It's pretty sick.
I want to see a picture of that. Do you have a picture of it?
I might actually be able to find one. But
Pull that up.
I started training when I would have been, I reckon I was maybe 10 or 11 when I started, but I was just doing bench, deadlifts, power cleans. And then when I joined the army, I still trained, I still loved it, but I wasn't super, super serious. And then I reckon 2016, when I moved down to Brisbane, I was training up in towns a little bit, moved down to Brisbane, and then me and my brother started training because we used to train as kids in the garage together. And then come down to Brizzy. We were just at training hard down here, and then I feel like the momentum just started. And every year I just want to get better and better, and I'm just keen to see where I can take my physique. Really keen to see how I look next year when I compete.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming, and I've built a fucking shit ton of muscle as well.
Yeah.
So,
I'm keen to see you shredded.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's going to look like.
Yeah, that's the hard part. We got to shred it first. But yeah, so I reckon I was always a bigger kid. Like I wasn't super athletic, but I was like a big dude. I always had that like a bigger frame. I remember like going to high school sort of excursions and seeing photos, and like my legs are just so much bigger than everyone else's, which is good. But yeah, so and then now I mainly training about five days a week, and my blocks just change. It's all hypertrophy based now. And I'm just trying to get as strong as possible before I start prep. Yeah.
What do you love about bodybuilding? Like, why do you think you gravitated
That's a good question.
towards it? Thanks.
So yeah, start of the year, right? That's when I had that breakdown. I would say is because I just remember doing it, and training just didn't seem fun anymore, and I felt like I just was getting even more, low, depressed and stuff, and I kind of thought it was going to be like a positive thing with bodybuilding, and then I started digging into that a little bit and realised it's just a lot of body image issues from being a kid, body dysmorphia, all that sort of stuff. I think that just ties into feeling like I was never good enough as a child. But now, overcoming all of that, it's not the comp day that motivates me. It's that process. It's not the end state, because if there wasn't an end state, I'd probably still live this lifestyle, because I just love the structure. Like from army, we just have routine, systems, structure, and that makes me feel like safe when I'm doing that. And I love training hard as possible. Like I love watching Blood and Guts, Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, and just seeing that level of intensity. And if I see that, it's like, okay, if they can do that, obviously genetically I'm never going to be like them.
Yeah.
But I know I can work hard.
Yeah.
That is something I've always had. Like even through all the shit growing up, I knew I had a good work ethic. And even now, being in this position where I'm not so flat out with work, I'm at uni, I have time, I've got money, and I have a really good coach, and it's just fun and easy. And just that idea of your physique is your work of art. Like being like it's hard to conceptualize that, but just that idea of dieting, training, putting on muscle, and then seeing how that looks, and presenting that in a way that you like, which is, I feel like that's just awesome. And it's just such a positive outlet to have. Like, I see people that I'm still friends with from army and, like childhood and all that sort of stuff, and they're going out partying every weekend, and I feel like bodybuilding is just a progression thing. And it just, that just branches off into all other aspects of my life, like, financial, like I want to start a good business and buy a nice house, have a nice family, all that sort of stuff. And I feel like just that work ethic with bodybuilding just branches off into other sort of aspects of your life.
Yeah, I think it's not just the work ethic, it's the discipline as well. Because it's one thing to just work hard here and there, but it's another thing to do it like repeatedly and consistently.
Yeah, and that's another thing I know I've got is I'm very disciplined from that, and I think the army would have helped that for sure. And that's also something I want to help other people when I'm a coach, because I know how this game works and I know what I need to do to get to where I want to go. And I just love coming here every day and doing work. I just love it. Sometimes it's hard because I love uni, but I get very tunnel visioned on training. Like if it's leg day and I'm trying to study, I'm just thinking about squatting or something, you know, like
a visualization.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's huge. I'm actually doing an assignment on that at the moment, like arousal in sport. And studies after studies just say that visualization is so beneficial. Like some nights I'll go to bed with legs the next day and I'll just listen to music and just think about my sets. And when I come into the gym, it's just like I just feel like I just know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly what I'm going to wear. I wear the same shit to the gym. It's literally like a uniform. Like I buy the same clothes and I just wear them every day, and it's like going to work. Like, and I just have that. I just try to be professional about it. I do everything properly, and it's working for me. So keep doing it.
You got a great bod.
I really like that idea of like it's like going to work.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Like,
so like
you're there to do this specific thing that it's like as if you're being paid to do it.
Yeah.
Like just do it, get it done, and get it done properly.
Because like I never want to try and be just a bodybuilder that gets paid. You know, not that I think that would ever happen in Australia because it's not like the States, but just having that mentality of like, you know, if you want to get really good at something, you need to take that discipline to that next level. And it's not just like little things. It's like, obviously, it's not just the big things. It's all those tiny little 1%ers. Like, I know some people will just like, you know, like even like that uniform thing. It's like that wouldn't really make a difference. But for me, that's time I can spend on other things. If I know, all right, I'm just going to wear that to the gym every single day, I've got more time to think about, you know, the food prep or the training or the recovery and all that sort of stuff.
You're trying to cut down decisions, would you say?
It all ties in together.
Yeah.
Recovery as well. So important. Like, I know some people can't do it, but like I spend the money and I'm getting massage every single week, you know, doing everything I can possible because I don't want to get on stage and go, I could have done better. That'd be the worst feeling. Because if I get on stage knowing I did everything possible that I could have done, and I didn't win, then who cares? Yeah. But if you lose knowing you could have done better, that's scary.
You'll know that. Like,
it's a scary thing to think about, I think.
Well, how do you keep yourself motivated when you're training? Is it more of just like a habit thing, or is it like do you think of like the end goal, or do you think of why you started, or what do you sort of use to?
It's a little bit of that habit for sure. Like I've been doing it for so long. I feel like I'm still learning. I feel like I don't know anything. Like I've got a good idea of the basics, but there's just still so many things. Like talking to Tom and how much he knows, I'm like, I'm surprised I didn't really know that. But there's just so many of those things. Habit for sure. That's massive. If you can get into a habit of training, where it just becomes second nature. Like you get home from work, you're like, I'm going to the gym. Then it's just you know, it's not when you stop, you're like, I'm going to go to the gym because it's already a habit. I always think about why I started training, because at the time I was going through a lot of hardship, and that helped me. So even now, like if I know I'm having a bad day mentally, just go train, just go have a big gym session, and the discipline for sure. That's something I've had for quite a while. I feel like I'm very disciplined. That's a good and a bad thing, because sometimes it can affect other areas of your life, which is something I'm starting to learn about now. Is you need to sometimes take a step back and just focus on other things that are very important. You know.
I feel like to be great at anything though, you have to have a little bit of that. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I feel like when I do start this prep, I'm already warning out Hillary, my partner. I've just said like, let's enjoy these few weeks, because I feel like I'll get very, very tunnel vision for sure. Which is and being my first show as well, like I don't want to do bad, so I'm going to give it everything I got.
100%.
So how far away is the show?
Well, still trying to figure out what I want to do. There's season A, which I think will be about March, end of Feb, and then there's that Fit Fest in April. I think it's April, and they keep changing the dates because of COVID.
Where is it? Is
that
it in
one's down in
Queensland?
Melbourne. Yeah. So it's literally like an Arnold Sports, but it's just for Australia and New Zealand. Yeah.
So you haven't decided which one you're doing yet, or are you going to do
Not sure
both?
yet. I'm just going to get ready.
Can you get a pro card from that? The Fit Fest?
You can get a pro card from the Fit Fest, but not the state qualifier for season A. So I think it'd be one of those ones where you would qualify doing season A and then go and compete for that.
Yeah.
So
Was Arnold's is the difference is that because it's international?
And that's
the only difference.
COVID's changed that all. So it's just like brand new. So I'll be doing if I do Fit Fest, it'll be first ever Fit Fest, which would be cool. Which is like a little goal that I think I'll do for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Have you got much planned for your bodybuilding career? Or is this just sort of short term, that Fit Fest, and then not too sure what happens after that?
Yeah, not yet, man. My only goal at the moment is getting on stage, you know, and just ticking all those boxes. If I might do it and go, nah, it's not for me. I'll try powerlifting or strongman or something else. I don't think that'll happen. But yeah, for now, man, there's no real goal. If I do well, then maybe I'll be like, okay, what can I do next? And I don't want it to control my life because it is in the future, and I don't really know what's going to happen yet. So it's just one of those things.
Just got to enjoy it.
Yeah, trying to enjoy the process.
Yeah,
it's awesome, man. It's awesome. It's it's one of those sports that it's very interesting. It's different. It's like it's hard, and it's maybe not as hard as like a boxing or something where it's so physical and of recovery, but it's 24/7, which I don't think many other sports are similar.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's not really a sport, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, you're doing it all the time. Like,
it is.
It's a way of living, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very personal as well. It's like you're pretty much 100% in control of
100%
the outcome.
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's what I love about it. Like, I don't have to rely on anyone else but myself. And that accountability as well, and that's why I always do the right thing, even by myself. And because I know if I didn't, I'd feel shit about it. It's cool. It's awesome.
There's nothing quite like it, is there really?
Yeah, there's similar. There's other individual sports, but like you say, there's not much there that's around the clock.
Yeah.
It's discipline 24 hours a day.
You control all the variables to a certain, pretty much, control all of the variables.
Yeah. But yeah, for sure, man. I don't think I don't want to plan too far in the future because I don't even know. I want to have a family in the next few years, get married and stuff, and I might get to that point and be like, what do I value more? Having a family where I can enjoy those little things with them, and not have to worry about being in the gym 2 hours a day and all that stuff. So,
What's your favourite exercise?
I've always loved it. I feel like it happens in phases, hey. I say I love legs, but everyone hates legs. If you do it properly.
Yeah.
It's I get anxious on leg day.
Yeah.
Come to the gym here we go. Fuck.
I feel like if you're really training hard, you do get a bit fuck.
Yeah, I get a little bit alright, need to switch on here. I reckon back for sure. I love deadies. Even deadlifts is hard, but rack pulls, bent over rows, T-bars, dumbbell rows and stuff. For sure, I'm loving that at the moment. But not a big fan of training arms, hey. Hate it.
Yeah, I'm the same. Legs my favourite.
I still give it everything I've got, but I don't know. I feel like it's not no real big compound movement.
You like moving the big weights.
It doesn't get, there's no dopamine there. When you do a huge squat PB or something, and after it you feel high.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's a full body tax, whereas biceps curls is just like really concentrated on it.
And then pump's good.
Yeah.
You look good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I do that with a group of like 3 guys that I train together. We get on a circle where
I think that would be well.